Hey everybody, Coach Stacy Lynn here, talking to you today from my kitchen table. And today, I just wanted to come in here for a couple minutes. And I wanted to share a couple of thoughts with you. First, I want to welcome anybody new. Hello, people. I want you to know this isn't the Perry Stone hate channel, just so you know. Seems like I get so much hate from Perry Stone people. The fruit of Perry Stone's ministry is people who hate Christians who are biblical. That's pretty much it. There, I said it. All right. Anyway, aside from that, um, today I wanted to share with you something that I think is really important. And that is that some people absolutely refuse to grow. You know, um, I talk to a lot of people, and because I have training as a therapist and I spent a lot of time as a therapist, often people still see me as a therapist, and I'm not. Although I'm very well read and I'm up to date on all of the things all the therapists should be up to date on, I don't practice therapy. I coach. And there's a big difference with being a coach than there is being a therapist. And I'm going to tell you the number one reason, the number one big, huge difference is that a coach will take you from where you are today to where you want to go in the future. We don't go digging around in your past. Yes, sometimes your past can impact you in the present, you might have to deal with some stuff. But my goal as a coach is to move you forward and to give you tools so that if you're stuck, you can move. And, one of the things that just breaks my heart and it makes me feel sad for people is when they're given tools and they do nothing with them. They do nothing with them, you know? We have today in the 21st century, in 2025, when I'm recording this, we have some of the best research on the brain and on change, on motivation, on all of these different things. And you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't do anything with it, you're going to be stuck, right? And sometimes people want to be stuck. And I feel sad for people that just want to be stuck. Because here's the thing, God gave us free will. He gave us the ability to make choices and to choose. And I'm not one of these people who believes that mental illness, if you will, is a thing per se, because I don't see that in scripture. I see in the Bible we have issues of distortion and sin, and we have an opportunity to make a choice. God gives us a choice. Most people, most Christians, um, choose not to do what God tells them to. Case in point. And my friend, Dr. Catherine Albrecht, actually talked about this yesterday on her channel. Um, you know, Anxiety is probably the number one thing people struggle with. I still struggle with anxiety, but I understand my reasons for struggling with it. And my reasons for struggling with anxiety aren't emotional. They're not. They're actually physical because I have light sensitivity and physical, I have sensory issues because of the light. And so I'm actually sitting here with the lights off in my house because it's physiological, it makes me calmer. And I didn't know this until a couple of years ago when I had my eyes examined and they told me that I had yellow retinas, which means I have no light covering, right? Um, so I've had to learn to think differently about my own anxiety. I love pickleball. I love it so much, I wrote a book about it. But where I play pickleball is in a gym that has a gazillion lights in it. And so I have to psych myself up to go because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to be bright in there. And I've gotten to the place where I can tolerate it for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, before it starts to really overwhelm me. And so I know that's my limit, right? I go, okay, the stimuli, it can physically overwhelm me where I just get overwhelmed. So I have a choice though. I have a choice of when I go, because the weather really has a lot to do with it because of how bright it is, um, and all that. And so I've had to make choices. They're not always easy choices, but I have the opportunity, and God gave us free will to be able to make a choice. Why do I bring this up? Because when it comes to anxiety, God tells us a couple of things. Number one, He tells us to not be anxious for anything, but with prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, to make our requests known to God. And the God, when He hears us, He will give us peace. Now the question is, how often do you actually do that as a Christian? Now you might know that verse, by the way, in Philippians, but do you do it? That's one thing. Do you do it? Do you actually do it? Right? You know it, but do you do it? Okay, that's one thing. The other thing is, I'm not a person who believes that God condemns us for having anxiety or fear. And I had to learn this. I actually learned this from my friend who helps me when I need help. And, she said, the Lord told his disciples over and over again to not fear, to not be anxious. And why? Because he knew they were going to be. Okay. It's part of the human nature. The issue is how we deal with it, right? I have clients I've worked with in the past. I've given them tools. I've said, do this. And do they do it? No, they don't do it. That's what being a coach is for. If you're going to be coached by somebody, you're going to be accountable for doing the work that the coach is encouraging you to do. I mean, I can tell you guys that I never give homework to anybody that I haven't done myself. I just don't do it because I have gone through a massive journey in my own recovery forever. And so I know what works and I know what doesn't work, at least for me. And if somebody isn't going to put in the effort to try to implement a tool that can help them, then why be coached? But here's the thing. This is what I think. I think that there is a small percentage of people who are willing to do the work. I really do. I think that there's a little percent, just as with anything, you cannot be a leader, most of you. Most of you are not leaders. I love it when people say, oh, everybody's a leader. Everybody leads somebody, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, not really, because a lot of people will not lead themselves to a place where they can be better. They'll go, oh, I have all these issues. I have this going on in my life, blah, blah. And they always have a reason or an excuse to not grow. And I guess ultimately, I'm coming on here today because I really want to exhort you and encourage you that you can. You know, I learned from a very abusive business coach I used to have. She gave me this question, and I thought, yeah, whatever. But she was a narcissist. This lady was a complete narcissist. But what I will say I learned from her is this question, which is, how can I? How can I do? And then you fill in the blank. Now, if you don't know, you get help from somebody like me that can help you, right? But then the thing is why would you put out good money to get info and then not do the work? Why would you do that? To me, that's nuts. I mean, it's like, hey, you can just donate to my ministry. It's a nonprofit and not hire me if you're not going to do any work, if we're going to coach, right? But here's the thing, the people that get it, they don't want to be stuck. They really want to be leaders. You have to lead yourself first, right? And as a Christian, you're following Jesus. Jesus is the leader, right? He gives us so much instruction in his word if you actually do it. So that's part of the reason I have somebody messaging me. But anyway, that's part of the reason I want you to know that one of the things I'm doing here on this channel on purpose is I'm emphasizing Bible study uh, on here. And I'm also going to be giving more, I don't know what the right word is, but more information about certain things because you know what? As a coach, my job is to kick you in the butt a little bit and to say, you've got this. You've got this. If you choose to get it. Otherwise, you know what? You're just going to be miserable like 99% of the people out there, right? You're just going to be a follower. You're going to be somebody who just blends in. And I don't honestly think that that's what God has for his kids. I think his kids, frankly, should be leading the pack. I think God's wisdom that he gives us through his word, if we apply it and use it, I think we can be changing more lives if you're willing to get out of your comfort zone. And that is part of the problem. You have to, in order for you to change, you have to get out of your comfort zone. In order for you to change, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable for a short amount of time. And I know other people have said that and on all that. And I hope this encourages you to move a little bit forward, to not be stuck. My face itches, of course. And now I got a big mark on my face, you know, and to just realize that you've got this, people. Hmm. There are some people that are so vain they would redo this video, but not me. What you see is what you get. So, hey, if you need a coach, if you need some encouragement, I have a great profile I can give you for free. All you gotta do is message me at the link there, and I'd love to give it to you because I guarantee you what I can learn about you from this profile will help you move forward if you decide to make a choice to do so. All right. Hope you have a better day.